I sat down with George Castro and he told me the story about why Bluefin's named Bluefin. And yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, that the road, yeah, Bluefin, yeah.
Well,
Great.
it's just basic. He basically what took what was it called? Not Kenoite,
Uh,
but the other one,
Silver Blue.
Silver Blue, and like put a little bit of stuff in it that Fedora is not.
Missing.
Yeah, it's like the NVIDIA stuff and things that Fedora feels they have.
And the codecs.
Yeah, all of the
The
stuff that.
stuff, yeah, the stuff that Ubuntu did for Debian and then Mint did for Ubuntu is all just kind of in Bluefin with extra like cool bits. The UJust stuff is fantastic, man. Like
So
I don't,
Bluefin is the mint of Silver Blue.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And I mean, obviously, I'm drawn to that kind of thing. I
Yeah.
don't want to have to dick around with my Linux, man. Like, don't get me wrong. I like to tinker, but tinkering so that I can get ready to tinker is not my
Nobody
favorite.
enjoys messing around with NVIDIA drivers and all of the codecs nonsense. I remember the hoops we used to have to jump through, and it's why Mint
Yet
was so popular in the beginning.
you say that, Bill, but I think we got a bunch of masochists around here, man. Because Nvidia is still overwhelmingly the video card of choice for Linux users. So you can say that all you want to, but the numbers don't bear out.
There's things on the AMD side that are a little more difficult just because you don't have the built-in hardware encoder decoder functionality that you've got on Intel and Nvidia.
It's true. That's why you should just use Windows.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I do you say that. I do have a Surface
I know damn well you do.
yeah, and
Nobody gets around here without a little bit of
I'm not
Windows.
even trying Linux on one of those. I tried on an older one that my mom gave me. And
Joe would be so upset at you right now.
well, I mean, that's a device made for Windows, and you can cobble together about a 60% Linux experience on it. But I need everything to work on this thing because it basically is our machine for the truck shows to run OBS Studio. So I need it's got QuickSync built into it because it's Intel, and that makes OBS run perfectly well. I just get rid of all the AI stuff that's on there. And
No, you leave it on there, man.
No, I got
Use
rid
it.
of
What are you talking
everything.
about?
I got rid
No,
of
ask
everything.
Copilot. Now, ask Copilot how to run AMD cards on Linux, and you're good, man.
You know, I'm sorry to say that I've been using Copilot on this machine that I built, the Windows machine here.
God, I wouldn't even admit this. Here we
Yeah,
go.
I'm sorry, but I'm like, oh my, because it popped up. It showed me a video. There's a huge thing going on right now with a driver down in Florida that and he
NVIDIA
was
driver?
Indian driver that was doing an illegal U-turn and killed three
Oh.
people.
Oh,
And,
Jesus.
yeah. Well, he was doing it in the middle of the turnpike down there.
Easy
And
there, of course. Great.
he,
Why wouldn't you?
well, the minivan just plowed full speed right into the side of his trailer, killed three people, and then it turned out that he was in the country illegally, and oh boy, what a time to be having something like that turn up. And
Oh, man, it's a perfect poster child for everything.
yeah.
terrible.
And then it turns out that he came into the country illegally through Mexico, made his way up to Washington State, got a CDL in Washington State. Some of this I'm not real sure how it got through, but he got a CDL in Washington, came down to California.
We've never been serious about immigration enforcement in this country.
No.
That's why. That's how.
No
That's how.
meaningful enforcement, thoughtful, meaningful.
Yeah.
But to get the CDL is a whole nother thing because he also got a non-domicile CDL in California, which he absolutely should not have been able to do.
Right.
But then he gets the job with one of those carriers out of California. There's a whole thing about a trucking school up there that's been funneling people through Canada and all this, that, and the other. Well, to steer it back to where I started, I the article popped up on the bottom bar of Windows on this machine, and I clicked on it, and it was a
Oh,
long article,
Copilot.
and it said have Copilot break it down for you. So I hit that button, and it brings in a side pane, and it was like a really easy to read and put together with bullet points and some some numbered like categories of things. It put the order of events and everything, and it was actually kind of nice, you know. And it
It's
got
one of
me
the
to
most, yeah, it's one of the most useful things that AI can do, honestly.
yeah, and I have no problem using these tools for stuff like that because that's
You
basically
know what I use it for more than anything now?
uh,
On YouTube, you can use the ask function to summarize a video so you don't have to sit there and watch a 40-minute video to figure
oh,
out if it's something you actually want to see.
and it's
It's
Copilot.
glorious.
It can't
It's
be
glorious.
Copilot.
It's no, that's Gemini. So
Gemini.
it's basically taking the transcript of the video and summarizing exactly like you just said. And I also use an add-on for Firefox that uses Gemini, and it's to summarize. It's summarize and translate. So, but I use it for summarizing, and you can write your template of how it'll summarize it for you. So I described it as, excuse me, one succinct paragraph providing an overview with at least three supporting bullet items underneath of that
Yeah.
to corroborate that. And yeah, it's beautiful for those ridiculous like 12-page articles that I don't know why the hell people feel they need to like write things that long, but obviously I'm not going to do that if I'm
Eric,
reading. Yes,
the answer is SEO.
I
They don't
know.
need to be that long. They are that long because they need those words in there so
That's
that
like
you
reading a recipe, right?
yeah, okay. Oh yeah, the recipe is 4 pages down.
They're the worst ones. It's like I don't need
But
to know your
see,
life story, how to make bread. But
yeah,
anyway,
exactly. Like you need to be able to ask
yes.
AI to chop the first 2/3 of the article out or whatever. I just don't trust AI to give me the recipe as it's written.
Believe it
You
or
know what I
not,
mean?
AI, when you confine it to a specific task, like or a small body of text specifically, it does a 100, almost 100% job. I have never caught it yet being incorrect whenever you apply it to a very specific body of text.
The thing is,
That's
you say almost, and I think you're right. 98, 96% of the time it's going to give you exactly what you want or whatever, but we've spent
but you're
hundreds of
not.
billions of dollars for all these companies to create calculators that are wrong sometimes. And
Well,
that's not good.
no, but the point being that I think when you're not asking it to be creative, and the idea of the concept of being creative, and I think in some ways the machines are doing this correctly, especially when they're hallucinating, is you're asking it to. It doesn't understand that it's not supposed to be creative, right? And I think that's probably where that constraint comes in and why it works so well whenever you say specifically this thing. Like when I use it for search results, it's pathetic. It's not even 50% correct. So to see it be so useful and correct for summarizing, and I agree with you, if there was something in there that seemed suspect, I would absolutely, you know, double check on something like that. And also to be fair, I'm not using this in an academic sense. I'm not using it for employment. I'm not doing, something I'm like
Oh, it doesn't
providing
matter.
to a
Those places
customer.
don't give two damns about it. They're forcing it.
No, I agree.
Yep. Where I work, I've got a front end dev friend where he works. Just it is insanely pervasive, and it makes bad employees worse.
Well, it slows. I don't care what anyone says. I know that I've talked to several developers who act like it makes them faster. But at the end of the day, I've heard from enough credible sources that have explained it in excruciating detail the process of using AI to code something.
Hmm.
And, it is not faster. It is simply faster or potentially faster in situations where you have someone who's a little weak in like maybe one or two areas, who it still at least has enough sense to follow through and do the right thing. But I agree with you. It just makes something that's already inferior just that much
How
worse.
could it be faster when you've got to go through and audit everything that it does?
Exactly. And that's what every qualified developer I've ever talked to has told me, where it's like, if I were to just sit here and do this myself, I already have boilerplate stuff that helps me get started with the resources I need to pull in, libraries and all that sort of thing. So that kind of is done for me. I don't need AI to create something that a junior level programmer might have done that I am already, it's not helping me,
This is what I was getting at about the calculator, right? Like that's an oversimplification of the problem. But when you get code that is sometimes wrong, I mean,
Right.
you have to be critical of every line of code,
Yeah,
right?
I love it. Was like the first pass is it gives me a structure that I then have to fix to make sense to look at. The second one is that it will maybe look right but not execute. The third one is I've got it to finally execute, but I need to lint it because all of the structure isn't correct. And then the fourth pass is maybe I have something that I can actually use. And he's like, by now I've spent an hour doing that. Whereas if I would have done it myself in the first place, it would have taken me 15 minutes and it would have been right the first time, and because programmers in generally are very fast with the tools they use. They sort of get the muscle memory of, you know, keyboard shortcuts or, using tools that pull in, chunks of things that have already been proven. I agree with you. I think we're starting to see that backslide in a meaningful way where it's like, oh, this is a bubble, or it's not useful, or all of the things we've put in front of normal people, they don't understand why they should use it. And it's like, yep, of
Yeah.
course.
So you said bubble. My question to all of you is, how long do you think it's going to take for the bubble to pop?
Well, hold that
If
thought.
they can't start showing a profit soon, I mean, how long can they piss away this kind of money?
Welcome to OTC 56. Okay, now answer the question.
Yeah, hold on. Let's do a 3, 2, 1. 3,
Okay.
2, 1. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to figure out a way to incorporate all that we talked about.
Yeah, sorry about
'Cause
that,
there's-
lads. It
No, you're
turns out that Linux causes problems.
No way.
I don't
Yeah,
believe it.
Here
We
we
were
go.
just
yeah,
talking about that.
yeah.
What
So
is it? A pen back? Or a pen
Let
back?
me wind this. Let me wind this up. Linux OTC. Welcome to episode 56. I'm Bill.
I'm Eric.
I'm Majid.
And I'm Leo.
Yeah. So before we got started, we were having a conversation, and Leo posted, well, hinted towards the question, how long before we start seeing the negative impact? At least, I think you what you were referring to was like the profitability of AI.
Well, the bubble's gonna
Oh
pop,
yeah.
right? Like
Oh
the
yeah.
Yeah.
There is no business model. I'm sorry. There is no business model that makes any sense in which you can spend this kind of gargantuan amount
What do you
of
mean?
money.
You just cram it into every freaking thing there is.
Yeah, but
Well-
people aren't using it, and
No,
people
they're
are
not.
actively avoiding it. They're
Okay.
actively avoiding it.
there are 2 points there. So they're actively avoiding it, right? But you have these companies that are saying you must use it. Put it in your workflow or else,
Yeah.
right? Like, and when it comes to something like that, when you give somebody a tool and they start using the tool and they're like, I don't really like this tool. I'm gonna put this tool back in the bag and I'm gonna do it the way that I used to do it or whatever. The usual thought process is not no, you better use that tool or we're gonna fire you. It seems weird that the AI tool that is supposed to be better at absolutely everything has to be forced. If
Yeah.
it's better at everything, you wouldn't need to force it.
No,
Yeah.
so I mean,
It would
I
be
think-
self-evident, right?
Yep, it would.
Right.
Yeah, but I think so. Having spoken to Popey about this, shameless plug for my podcast last week, he said something interesting, which I think kind of gets to, because I think it's very easy, and I'm guilty of it, of being a complete naysayer about AI and saying that this is just all crap. right? And then
I don't
there's
think it's
other,
all
and then
crap. So just
no,
to
no,
just to stake my thing, I don't think it's
no,
all
no, no, no,
crap.
no, I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm just saying that I
As it's
have been
being
one of
marketed,
those.
it's
Yeah,
crap.
yeah, yeah. Then there's the people who are the Googles and the Microsofts, the Open AIs, the Sam Altmans, all these people who are like, this is going to
Salesmen.
revolutionize your life.
They're
Right?
salesmen.
Yeah. The reality is somewhere in between, as it is with a lot of these things.
Mhm.
In certain specific aspects, which are being found out, day by day, people are finding, where it's useful. It is undoubtedly of good value, but nowhere near the amount that these salesmen, as we've, established, are putting it at.
Psychotic salesman, by the way.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Well,
So like, but
no, no,
this gets to my point
psychotic. I
about the
mean,
bubble though. So
yeah,
when the bubble pops, just as it did in the .com era, you were left with, I mean, I would like to say the good stuff, but you weren't. You were left with the things that made crap tons of money. And it's going to be the same in this case as well. When the bubble pops, a lot of the AI companies are going to go bust. The ones that, I mean, and unfortunately it's going to be Meta and Google and whatever, and they're going to find use cases to force it. Those companies will stand to make a ton of money, but it won't be nearly as pervasive as we have right now. It
no,
won't be
and
in
Well,
everything.
just,
as
I mean, as I
as
said,
we as we record this, 5 days ago, Sam Altman went on record as saying that it is a bubble, and that someone, and then quoting, someone will lose a phenomenal amount of money, and
Hopefully
that's
it's
what.
him.
And so he's saying that while
that sounds like
fundraising.
that sounds like expectation management, doesn't it?
Well, he's simultaneously asking for multi-trillion-dollar investment
Hmm.
while
Exactly.
saying it's a bubble. And it's like, if that isn't the definition of like a person who is willing to risk the entire world's economy, I mean, we're talking this
Yep.
bubble
Oh
is
yeah.
is as bad as the 2007-2008 housing crisis all over
Yeah.
again.
It's
The
pure snake
downturn.
oil. Pure snake oil.
But it's not pure snake. See, that's the problem, and I agree with
It's
Leo on this.
85% snake oil.
Okay. Yes.
Exactly.
Okay. That's so. Okay. Sorry. I'll take that back.
Sam
Yes.
Altman is pure snake oil.
Yes. That's what I wanted to say. That's
There
what I
you
wanted to
go.
say. That's what
Let's
I
look
wanted
at this. Look at the salesy side of this. Okay, the whole concept of AI, as it's been repackaged in the last few years, several years, I suppose, it has existed for decades, if not longer. Right? The idea of machine learning, of
Exactly.
of using the computational aspect of computers for the utilizing the power that they will hold to do those things, and that has sort of led us to this determination, this determined effort to like productize it in a way that is widespread, instead of scientific and medical research and things like that, where that's really the purview, maybe space exploration. There were things that made sense to use machine learning where they were, or the genome, there were certain things that all of those things lended towards that sort of area of computer science, which it is, a genuine aspect of computer science. But this salesy part of it, the marketing team, is the AI. And AI is this, and Apple Intelligence is the pinnacle of the lie that is AI, right? The fact that they can't even deliver on things that they
Yeah.
mocked up and
Apple,
showed to their customer base.
What's going to be
Apple
funny about that?
Intelligence. Apple Intelligence is the air power of this decade.
But
Can you remember
hold
air
on.
power?
What's going to happen here though is that the bubble's going to pop before Apple gets to market, and then Apple's going to be like, "Oh shit, don't." And
No,
then
but they've already
Apple
spent the
will,
money. They've
yeah,
already
but
spent the money.
it doesn't matter because Apple is going to win
Not
in
really.
that they didn't have AI into everything, and they're going to look like the superhero at this point. They go,
Yeah.
"Oh,
So
Yeah,
Apple didn't force us all to do all this."
so by being absolutely
Yes,
terrible,
yes,
they somehow managed to get out of it. Well,
correct.
actually, I really hope that doesn't happen because people
Isn't
need to
that
be
the
slapped.
story of Apple though? All they have
Mm.
to do is be the least terrible thing,
Yep.
and then they win. And Windows sucks. Linux
Yep.
has sucked in the past, and Apple's there to win because they're slower moving.
Yeah, and they have only invested, really. I mean, I just watched this a pretty in depth, reporting on this, where basically Apple is looking outside to OpenAI and other companies because they themselves stopped investing really heavily. I mean, at first they were sort of on par with a lot of the same, infrastructure, the video cards they had, that sort of thing. And their team asked for a heavier investment, and they basically said no, because the marketing team said it's not sexy, it's not something we want to dive into yet. Let the market mature. So in a backward sort of way, they've saved themselves, like Leo said, from being one of the top investors necessarily. So
I don't think it's backwards though. They did this with the iPhone. The iPhone. Like
yeah,
we
true.
had Palm Pilots, we had Blackberries, we had Android came out, and then all of a sudden iPhone dropped, was better than everything else, and it became absolutely pervasive. They're gonna do it again with AI. And
Right.
I
Once
mean,
it becomes like a mature thing and they find where it actually
yes,
suits their needs. Yeah.
Because I mean, as I
that's
said,
been Apple's superpower, is just
yeah,
waiting.
You think they'll
as I've
eventually just have like a better Siri? Because that's kind of
no,
what I think.
I think that's
no,
all it's gonna turn
no.
into.
It's not
Yeah.
even that. If it was that easy,
Not
it would
now.
have happened by now.
Not
No,
now.
no, no, no,
No,
I'm
they're
not saying now. I'm saying in 5 years, maybe.
right.
But then
They'll have.
that'll mean that Siri has been around for 15 years and only become decent after 15 years. Because it's
Yeah,
been
but
around for
it's not
10
like
already.
anything else is great.
You know what? People use it just like they used Alexa for this, for the same three things:
Right.
set a timer,
Yep.
set an alarm, and play a song. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like
Yeah.
it's all it's ever been good
Find out what
at.
the weather's like.
Yeah, exactly. And so those pre-programmed, logical loops or whatever, like they can handle that. And that's actually, I hadn't realized it, but that's because they bought Siri, and the way that it's structured is literally just like templates. Like they had
Yeah.
to create a
Well,
template for each
that's how
action.
all these original assistants work, didn't it? A Siri,
Right.
Google Assistant, Alexa. They're all prompt based, and apparently that has been one of the stumbling blocks, because of the way that it's architected, to get the AI stuff into it. If you look at something like Google Gemini, it is in itself a different product to Google Assistant
Mhm.
from a architecture perspective. So I think there's been very long and interesting YouTube documentaries, which I've probably shared as well, where people talk into how Apple have got into this kind of mess of around AI. And a lot of it is talking about the way that Siri was under, they didn't put as much resources into that. There was a lot more resources into other things. As I said, I gave the example of air power, their wireless charging thing, which never really kind of happened. And
Well, let's not forget that the reason that most companies are so enthralled with AI is that there's so little creativity in technology, and so little differentiation between consumer products anymore, that they're just clamoring for any advantage they can get. I mean, how many cameras can you pack onto the back of a phone? How many, pixels
Another
can a
one.
screen be? How marginally better can a processor be between generations? I mean, it's all so samey and just like such a mature market now, and not only in phones and consumer technology, but in the computing space as well. Like Moore's law doesn't really exist the way it used to, where these gigantic leaps in processing capability and power, like it just doesn't exist the way it used to. And so AI, I think, became this like fallacy where this was the next big thing. This is what everybody had to put their chips behind because there was nothing else. There's no creativity. There's no innovation. There's nothing that's really pushing things further. I mean, you could argue quantum computing, maybe, but we're still so far away from that. And, okay, well, another processor, ARM, we're switching to ARM instead of, okay, well, maybe that's an innovation because it's, the battery saving. I mean, there are very marginal, tiny little things that are changing where if
Hang
you
on.
look back,
Are you
go ahead.
telling me that the 8% increases in NVIDIA's processing power video card after video card for $1,000 is not a leap or a bound? Are you kidding?
Well, gee, I wonder why Nvidia is the most such a profitable company right now. What are they, number two?
Yeah.
Is it all
Behind who?
Microsoft?
No. Uh-uh.
Apple's not number one anymore.
No, they're number two. NVIDIA's behind Apple. Who's
Oh,
number
okay.
one?
I thought it was Microsoft.
Is it? It may be, but
I'm
Apple
pretty
was
sure
number
it's
one for a very
Microsoft.
long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, that's
for-
what I was under the impression as well. Can I just take a couple of steps back?
No,
Um, you're there is a perceived lack of innovation in technology now. That is true, but I think that's more of a failure of the companies than the technology in itself. A
Wait,
blame
wait.
lot
Sam
of
Perceived?
Altman's. You're right.
okay.
Perceived?
What I'm saying, because actually, if you wanted to, and if you were imaginative enough, you can get a lot of stuff done on these portable computers that we keep in our pockets. You know, people can do video editing, people can do batch photo processing, people can do on-device AI, people can do quite a lot. But because that maybe not be because the sales people for this don't necessarily know anything about technology in the first place, instead of leveraging that and saying, look, I mean, it's like the whole convergence thing from a decade ago, Ubuntu first, and then Microsoft, and then Samsung with Samsung Dex and all that. That is genuinely something really useful, but nobody's pushing it. Why aren't they
Normal
pushing it? Because
people.
they can't monetize it. And so because
Well,
they can't monetize, that's one thing. And then secondly, again, as I'm saying, the people who are doing the salesmen for these things often don't know jack shit about the technology that they're talking about. And so they will just go on the usual kind of, this is 30% better at this and this is 20% better at that, not even knowing what it is that they're saying.
There's nothing new about that.
No, there isn't
yeah,
anything new about it. But I mean, but if you're going to say that, oh, look, technology is just completely plateaued, it's not getting anywhere, and that's why people are jumping on the AI train. If people understood these things properly, maybe there would be innovative solutions that people can come up
But
with.
is that a
that
strength?
preface.
no,
Is that
no.
a strength of its place in the marketplace? Is that people don't really understand what this is, and so
No, I
it
don't
can
think
be.
it's that at all. I think it is. First of all, people don't care, right? I mean,
That's
it's
what I
not.
mean.
That's why flashy features are interesting because it's something different. It's demonstrably different. It's demonstrably interesting, versus if you say spend $1,000 and get a phone with a camera that is 5% better and a battery that's 5% better. I mean, unless you're just an idiot who has to have the newest thing all the time to be flashy, most people are going to have a 5-year-old cell phone because who cares? What's the
But
point? It's,
true.
it's not like I can point to it and be like, check out this cool new thing. It's if you have an iPhone that's 3, 4 generations older, you can't even tell anymore. What the hell is the difference? Why would you buy a new one unless you're flexing? That's the only reason to get new things anymore is to
People are
to
buying
show
them
the
though.
world that you have the money to spend.
That and the
And
battery stops charging.
why I think technology does this is because it doesn't serve the greater good. It's not built for improving our lives. It's built to move units. It's built to last a
Well,
certain
that's why
amount
we
of
have.
time.
Yeah, that's why we have yearly releases instead of
Exactly.
releases when things are good.
Right.
People are still
So
buying them though.
technology,
People are
I'm
still
not
buying
saying
them though.
Which is to Eric's point, they don't care. There's like certain facets of life that they care about that would encourage them to buy something every single year, but it's not because of the technology necessarily.
right.
It's
No,
because
that's
of
true.
whether for
I agree.
themselves or for an outward appearance, they
No, but
want the newest of the new.
my point is, if they are buying it, then that means that there's a business to be made. There's money to
Well,
be made.
some people are buying it. And I think the
Mm,
truth is that
Enough.
more, well, yes, of course, but that's the whole mobile game, find the big fish and sell
Correct.
you don't have to sell it to everybody, just a few suckers that are willing to spend that money. And it's the same thing with cars right now. You can't buy an affordable car anymore because they only sell cars that are $100,000.
But
You want a family SUV that used to cost $35,000, sucker, it's going to be 70 now. You just
what?
can't
What?
look at car lot. Watch some videos on car trends and prices right now. They don't make affordable cars because the manufacturers don't want to sell those anymore. The profit margins are too thin, so they're
but
not going to
people,
make
again, the business
affordable
move.
cars anymore. Even though they
I
could sell.
can't.
Go ahead.
I certainly can't buy a $17,000 F-150 anymore. That's very true. But
I was
think
just
the
going to
price-
And it
say, and
wasn't
if
that
you're the
long
kind of
ago
guy
that
that
you
likes pickup trucks, you are screwed.
Oh
No, I
yeah.
mean, no. If you're the kind of guy that likes pickup trucks with all the creature comforts that everybody insists on having in trucks these
Oh,
days,
yeah, no,
you
that's
are
true.
screwed. If you get yourself a base level F-150 XL trim,
Good luck finding
that's
one.
it's still 28,000. Just ask them to order it and wait a month. They will get it to you.
And
You
there are
look.
places that
I,
sell fleet trucks too, if you don't
so
mind,
I
like a
don't.
white one.
it's
I
because people don't want to wait. People don't want to get what they want. People just go to the lot and they're like, "Well, I guess I have to have." No, you don't. You
No.
can ask them to ship one to you. Is it going to cost you an extra 1,000 for that because they have to ship it to you? Yeah, probably. But you can get exactly what you want. You can do it from the website and say, I want the crap 17-inch steel wheels, man, with roly things, roly windows. You can still do that, but people don't want to do that
Mm.
for, I think, what we were talking about before. You got to have a little bit of flash. You got to have a little bit of, for me, and
so
I'm looking at the same exact kind of thing. I want the cruise control that adjusts its speed based on the person in front of you. I want the little subwoofer built into the actual thing. And of course, those things are going to cost more money, but you can still get a base model, whatever it is that
Well,
you
but
want.
we're also now facing the world where auto manufacturers have caught on to technology to the point
Of
where
course.
features are going to start costing more. Subscription, they're going to find a way to get us to pay subscriptions to
Oh,
use our own
BMW
cars.
tried
No, no,
to.
everyone points to that, but you watch. That was just a very weak first foray just to gauge the reaction, and they all had to pull back from it. But I guarantee you they're already thinking of ways to do it. And Tesla, in a lot of ways, sort of set the bar for that because,
For what?
they,
Killing people?
well, for having things become a plateaued proposition where it's like you can get this card that has all the sensors and everything built in, all the computational power you
We're
need,
going to turn them
but
off,
it's the
though.
software. You have to pay for the software, and I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah. So Tesla's a terrible. They're a really visible example, but Tesla's a terrible example. They had what the 2020 Tesla sedans had all of the lidar and the radar and all the junk, but in a software update turned them all off just to work on the cameras, and then they sucked more. Like they're a terrible use. They're a terrible like case study in how to do this stuff. I think a lot of the car manufacturers are much better at. They've caught up and surpassed
well,
Tesla when it comes to that stuff.
okay. So
just say
I
that.
hate the car. Yeah, I think they're also a bastion of terrible privacy practices as well. I think some of them have started to get
Yeah,
better since Mozilla and some other companies have started to shame them as much as they have. But
I
the
doubt it.
idea that I would love to use the app from my Volkswagen, but I know by having it installed on my
Nope.
phone that it's just gathering a ton of information and sending it straight back to them.
Yeah.
And there's a good example. There's a bunch of stuff in that app. I could start my car remotely, roll down the windows, turn on valet
Right.
mode, do all this like stuff that is technically part of the vehicle I purchased, but only if I use that app and
No, please
only if I'm
understand.
willing.
You're right. You're not wrong in any way, but please understand that all that information, all those things, all that stuff is being sent to Volkswagen already.
Some of
The
it,
app,
some of
the
it, some of
the
it.
well, okay, you go into the settings and turn off some of the stuff, but
Yes.
the app itself is not controlling any of that. It is interfacing with the API that Volkswagen makes available to your application so that you can interact with that stuff. But that information, those windows, those locks, those the remote start is all being sent to Volkswagen. And
Right.
this is for the vast majority of people that don't even know that there's a setting to turn that off, right? So it's
Right.
all being sent back to Volkswagen. So whether you use the app or not doesn't matter. They know where you are. They know what your windows are. They know if you like to drive with the top down. Like they know all this
Right.
already.
And that would be fine, honestly, if they were collecting it for themselves. But the problem I have is that they then sell it to a data broker who then sells it to my insurance company and then uses it as a justification to increase my rates because I went over the speed limit 3 times last year or something stupid like that. And
But wouldn't it
it's,
be in? I mean, insurance is a scam. But wouldn't it be in insurance's best interest to have that information?
potentially, I think if they were to limit that and it wasn't sheer profiteering and it was really more altruistically about safety and also for getting people that act in a very unsafe manner, you know, here's the problem, right? And this is the same fallacy that the policemen are going to use, right? Speed limits here in Florida are 70 miles per hour on the interstate. Everybody, and I'm talking everybody, goes at least 75, if not faster than that.
Right.
And so the police could pull you over and say, "Oh, you're going faster than 70." Yeah, me and everybody else. So you can't actually use that. But and the insurance companies would do the same exact thing. "Oh, but you were going faster than the posted speed limit." Yeah, me and if I went the speed limit, I would get crashed into from behind.
Yeah.
Like, you can't use that as a justification, but they would, because data isn't looked at with the idiosyncratic nature
Here it is.
that it exists. It's
This
just
is a
black
good
and
point.
white. You did this thing, so obviously we're going to charge you more.
There is no context to
Right.
your data-driven decisions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. You chose to break the speed limit, or you're hard braking, or fast accelerating, or there's so many G forces when you're
I don't even
turning.
understand the hard braking thing. Like, that's a safe thing to do when the alternative is I'm gonna crash.
Yep. Yeah, but you explained that exactly. There's no context. I agree with you.
See, here's what you got to do. You just got to let the software in the car do the hard braking for you, and you can be like, "Well, it wasn't me." So
I actually
technically,
appreciate that feature. It did save me from backing into someone once.
They are
so,
putting
Which-
that feature into trucks, commercial vehicles over here, and I
Right,
assume
but-
everywhere now, and it is a
this is
double-edged
why
sword.
cars
It
are more
actually works.
expensive.
If
This
it
is
actually
why they're more
worked.
expensive, though.
The problem
Like,
with it is
these-
that people cut us off like religiously, or they come over too soon, which makes that crash deterrent technology react, and so
You just have a larger data pool because you're on the road more often than other people. I think.
well, yeah,
right.
that's
Right.
arguably true.
Right. The likelihood that
how
you're
about
going to
the-
have to hard brake over a normal person is probably much, much higher.
Yeah, I think it overreacts. Well, it overreacts by default, actually. And
You mean the distance as someone is from you?
yeah,
that kind
because
of thing.
people,
Well, I mean,
people
your murder
routinely come
machine-
over way too close, which way
Yeah,
too
I mean,
close
you might be
according to
doing
the
a
computer.
U-turn. You might be doing a U-turn in the middle of the turnpike
In Florida
you know.
somewhere. I've heard it happens. Yeah.
Your Bill, your murder machine is much heavier,
Yeah,
and
my
much more
40-ton
murderous
killing
than
machine,
yeah,
yeah.
than regular people's murder machines. So you,
Majid, what were you trying to say? Go ahead.
I was just trying to say that I think the automotive market is very different in the States compared to the UK. I think the reason
oh,
why
y'all are getting the
car-
F-150s now.
no, the reason that cars are so expensive is because nobody buys them. What I mean by that is, all the big thing in this country at the minute is what they call PCP, personal contract purchases. So you go to a, I don't know, Volkswagen.
Sounds like a lease.
Pretty much is. It
Ugh.
pretty much is. You go into a place, you put down, I don't know, a couple of, you put on a deposit, you then pay 200 quid a month for the next 3 years. You then have the option, they say at the end of,
Buying it out. This is a lease
buying
in
it
the
out.
U.S. Yeah, we call these
Yeah.
leases in the U.S.
Yeah. So the difference is that the reason that so there is, because we have personal contact hire and personal contact purchase, and basically with personal contract purchases, what's basically happening is that someone is lending you the money to do this. Do you see what I mean? And at the end, it gets very complicated.
You're
but
renting the
main-
money to rent the car. That's weird.
Yeah. So what you're doing, what they want you to do is they just want you to just keep at the end of the 3 years. They don't want you to give the car back. Sorry, they don't want you to buy the car out, and it doesn't make any sense to buy the car because basically what you're doing is buying the same car twice, right? What they want you to do is to give the car back and then take another one out and then pay another 200, 300. And now in that scenario, because nobody's putting down 40, 50 grand, it all just comes down to, well, if I was to buy this car, it's going to cost me 250 quid a month, but if I get this one, I'll pay 300 quid a month. That's only 50 quid extra, so I'm going to get that one. And then that's why you get this real way price inflation just going up and up and up because nobody's buying. If you are one of those weirdos that, like myself, probably, who actually wants to buy a car and put money down, and whether that is my own money or whether I borrowed
I
money,
pay cash,
that's
baby.
beside the point. I always pay cash. Where I've got the cash from is a separate thing, but I always pay cash, whether I've borrowed it from, a family member or whatever, and I'll pay them back because this is just a never ending scheme. So I remember once, for example, my son's a real car nerd, and he was when we were buying a new car a couple of years ago. He was like, "Well, why don't you get this PCP purchase thing and this, that, and the other?" And then you looked at it, and it was like, So I have to put down £4,000 as a deposit. Then I spend £300 per month for the next 3 years. And if I want to buy the car outright, then I have to put down another 10 grand as the balloon payment at the end. I'm not. Who's got 10 grand just in the?
You were
Um,
supposed
Well,
to save it up in the
listen to
first
this
3
now.
years, man.
No,
so,
the last time when I went to buy this car, first of all, the look of disappointment on their face when I said I was a cash buyer.
exactly same
But
here.
then, but secondly, before I said that, they're offering me 60, 72, 84-month payment plans on a car.
Yeah.
7 years.
Yeah.
Are you shitting me? 7 years?
That's what you got to do to get the payment down where people can afford it.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Nobody's looking at the actual interest rate. Nobody's looking at what it's going to cost them over the 7 years. Nobody's
Yeah, they're just looking at
any
the
of that.
monthly. They're just looking at the monthly
That's
expense,
it.
and
Right.
that's where, as I said, so that's how they're making the
That's
money.
why the leases
So-
are nice.
Because we've given
and
up
so-
completely, in America at least, we've given up completely on the concept of being debt-free. That's just a
I haven't.
Oh yeah.
Mm-mm.
Well, I dare say you are in a
I know, I'm
minority,
weird.
Eric.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm in a very small minority. I know that.
Yeah, I mean, as I probably mentioned last week on Mintcast, we had some good news in the sense that my son finally got into university after a couple of years of trying, which is all great and stuff. So
My
now
son
we've been
got-
applying for student.
got
We've been
approved
applying
for
into student
Harvard.
finance, and I looked into the amount of money, and I could not believe how astronomical it was getting. So I thought I must be getting this wrong. So I spoke to one of my colleagues who she's a nurse, right? She actually listens to this podcast, actually, by the way.
What a mistake.
Sorry to hear
I
that.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. No, I did tell her it was good for insomnia, so I think that's probably why. And she's from, shall we say, difficult background. She did a nursing degree. She had to have loans and everything for everything because she couldn't, afford anything off the top. And I asked her, so how much for a 3-year degree did you get into debt? And she says, oh, I owe him 85 grand. What? 85 grand? And he said, yeah. How much do you pay a month then? So, well, they just take about £20 out of my wage packet. And, I'm never going to pay this. I'm never going to pay this off. It's, it's a tax in everything but name. Because after a certain number of years in the UK, once you hit a certain age, your loan is written off.
Oh, not here, buddy.
No.
I know they're not there. So they'll
take you to the grave, baby, and then they'll keep trying to.
Then they're
going to
go after my kids.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean that at least made me feel a little bit better about the astronomical, things that we were looking at for my own son. But yeah, what it made me understand is that at least in the UK, I mean, you guys know the America much better. People are just used to being in ridiculous amounts of debt, and they just don't. It doesn't seem to click to them in any way, shape, or form. It's just kind of like, nah, it's all right.
I've looked at the people around me and the lives they live, and I understand that the only reason that can possibly be is that they are in debt up to their nostrils, and they are very close to drowning, but they don't care because it's just the way people
making it, man.
And to me, if I went to bed every night with that kind of debt, I would literally wake up with cold sweats. Like I was raised with that depression mentality. If you want something, you save for it. Like
eat everything on your plate.
Right. We don't waste a thing. We eat everything. We don't throw food away. We recycle everything. I mean, I don't. And it's just how I've lived my life. Does it make me some kind of, look at me, no, it's just how my mind works.
Just off camera from Eric are like 18 boxes. Some are empty. Some have like old felt in piles.
No, that's my garage. Thank you very much.
Oh, boxes?
He's a saver, man.
Behind this curtain behind me, because I'm from the same generation Eric is.
Oh, that's a curtain?
Yep.
That is a curtain. And behind that is a stack of broken down boxes that I've been saving for 15 years.
Because you never know when you're going to need that size box.
Yeah.
So we
my
also
mother's
do.
Like that. The house is just full of crap.
So we
stuff
save all of our empty containers. If it's not something we don't want, if it's something we don't want, we recycle it. If it's something we'll use again. And let me tell you how often I need a container that's just a certain size, and my wife will just magically make it appear, and I'm like, thank you.
It is a curtain. Look at that.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know it was a curtain?
I never
No,
knew
Yeah.
that was
it
a
looks
curtain. I
real.
always thought that
Yeah.
was yeah, it did, yeah.
Every so often, someone
Well,
will
now
peel
he's
it
messed it
away.
up. Yeah, no, now
I
he's
mean,
messed it up though. So it.
yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I can never
There we
look at that
go.
in the same way again now.
Yeah. So
Wow.
the
And I
boxes
mean, I
though,
don't know.
this
I mean, I don't know whether maybe it's just he's got a crap webcam, and so therefore it's easy for us to
for
think
those of
it's real.
you who have
Maybe.
never seen it before, Bill sits in front of what looks like a brick wall.
Sorry,
but
I
we've
thought
all-
everybody
Yes,
was
we-
listening to you.
No,
audio podcast, Rick showing stuff as we do.
yes, and so the brick wall is actually a wall hanging.
Yeah, it's like a tablecloth kind of material. You would not want to
It's
see
only
what's
taken me
behind
2
that.
years to figure that out.
That
Yeah.
means
You
it's
just
doing its
shattered-
job. That was the best
I wouldn't have
$11
figured
I've
it
ever
out.
spent on
You
Amazon.
shattered reality. Yeah,
Yeah,
Seriously,
man, it's all quantum, man. It's all quantum now.
that's right.
never would
In
have figured
case
that
you
out
were
of Bill
wondering
didn't
if it
just
was a
say something.
simulation before,
Yeah.
I know this looks
Obviously.
the aesthetic. Yeah, I mean it worked great. I mean, and you could buy all
Great.
different kinds. Like Steve from Three Fat Truckers, he bought an all white one, and he put it around him in like a 90-degree angle fashion, but it made it look like he was sitting in a prison cell. And we took the piss
Brilliant.
out of him for that. 'Cause
Nice.
it looked like he was sitting on the edge of your prison bed doing podcasts. He never
So you
used
had
it
any
again.
Linux adventures then in between all the AIs and the cars? Has anybody had
well,
any Linux adventures?
Oh, yeah.
let me just say, I have spent, I'm sorry, not spent, wasted more hours trying to get vanilla OS and anything based on Fedora's immutable, and I cannot use them just yet, and I've come to that conclusion that I'm not going to waste any more time on Bluefin, Bazzite, any of them until they've matured another year or two, and then I will come back and try
I'll
them
just
again.
mute my mic now.
Spoken like this is spoken like a true Windows user right here.
Oh,
I'm not going to waste any more time with wine
have-
and trying to set up containers to
Nope.
play this game.
Nope.
A couple of
happening.
years in Linux might
Don't
be
care.
worth it, and I'll give it a try.
You know
but
what that is?
Not
That's
today.
pragmatism. That's pragmatism.
That's, right,
not-
and that's why Windows will always win.
Yeah, so it's interesting actually that you've been mentioning about Bluefin because I was watching a couple of interviews with George Castro, and I got all like, "Oh, immutable! This sounds fantastic. Immutable's brilliant. I used to use Aurora, and Aurora was fine. Let me try Bluefin." That is part of the reason why I was late today. Well, there was 2 reasons. Computer number 1, with the one which has got CachyOS on, decided to do a Discord update, but obviously the package for some reason thought it was an Ubuntu system, and so it was downloading a deb and trying to install that, which obviously didn't work. So then I went on to a laptop number 2, which is the one with Bluefin. And then after having, got Discord onto that and everything, Discord couldn't see my camera, couldn't see my microphone, everything. I assume because of the fact that it was a flat pack and there was some kind of containerization thing. And so in the end, I ended up on laptop number 3.
when are you going to
which
learn just to
thankfully
put
isn't
Mint on it and be done with it?
well, and which thankfully isn't the Windows one. At least I've this is at least an Ubuntu one. All roads always lead back to Ubuntu. However much
why?
I try,
And why?
You know,
Because it
because
works.
it works.
Wow, what a shock.
And I know it's, and that's why I never have. This is probably the most varied I've had when it comes to the different distros on my different devices that I've had for a while. An immutable Fedoraized, Ubuntuized Fedora with Bluefin, CachyOS, but I always make sure that one of these is still on Ubuntu.
You just
in the
need
past,
You got to have a laptop that actually works, though, right?
Well, yeah, you got
Exactly.
to
It'll be
have a
good.
podcasting rig that you just leave the thing that works on it and you don't mess
Yeah.
with it, and then do all your experimenting on something else. That's
Yeah.
not
Well, yeah.
quite
So that was the original. So the podcasting rig used to have Mint on it, but then as I said, but I got caught up with the whole CachyOS kind of hype train that's going around.
Made
and so I
bad
tried-
choices. You got to say it
Yeah.
right.
Well, yeah.
It's okay. Don't feel too bad because it was inevitable. But
No, do
continue.
feel bad because you should have known better.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, next is going to be yeah, you're right. I'm just gonna put Mint and just forget it. I can't be bothered with this, man. Sometimes.
So we got a question in the comments.
Okay.
He has a last
Somebody
video.
watches?
Yeah,
Hey!
last video of the day. He asked the question. I have a question. He says, "Do we really need to buy Windows license. I mean, it works almost the same. You just can't change wallpaper and theme, but there are always ways to do that. So, do we
Most of
really
the Windows
need to
licenses
buy?
now are in the BIOS now. I mean, Joe
Yeah,
told me
well,
this.
I think
remember.
the question is, do we really? Let's say we have a machine that does not have somehow or another does not have the appropriate Windows license somehow attached to
It
it.
depends what you want to do with the machine. I think you can perfectly live your life without a license. Not that I'd ever advocate
This machine
that, because
here,
I'm sure that's
No, you can't. No, no, no. Like, there's nothing to advocate for. Windows allows this to happen now.
exactly.
Yeah,
It
they
Windows
is
do.
not
allows
a.
it
You just
because they
can't
would
do
prefer
any
you to use it.
personalization.
They would prefer you to be using it rather than not using it.
Yeah.
And so
Correct.
that's why I'm not sure it's so true of Office. I think they really want you to buy
No.
Office. And
You
they
can
really
use
want
the
you to
free
pay
web
payment
version.
plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then but they've handicapped that so much that it is quite, after a certain point you just think, oh, forget this. I'm just
It's
going
just
to pay
like
the
Google
money. At
Docs, isn't
least-
it?
Yeah.
I mean, I
Kinda.
actually think if everybody just moved over to Google Docs completely, then Microsoft Office would just die a death.
Such
God,
sad words
please
you
no.
speak.
Please stop. No.
not that I advocate Google Docs either, because I don't use it, but it does seem to me that it's if enterprises went that way, then I can imagine Microsoft being in real trouble when it comes to their Office business.
No, but
Enterprises don't.
to answer your question, there's absolutely no reason. I mean, because the only thing you're buying, if you got Windows working on this machine, and the only thing you're not able to do is change the theming and because you used to be able to change between the dark and the light theme, but you can't even do that anymore without the license.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
They
but,
ta-
but, but
Listen,
who cares really?
here-
Who cares? Really?
However,
The second. Oh.
if you install it using what's the thing? The thing, the thing.
Rufus?
No, the other one, the Linux one.
Belena.
No,
Etcher?
no, the
Rufus.
thing like Rufus.
Oh,
but it's-
Ventoy.
Ventoy. If you use
Ventoy.
Ventoy, it sets you up with it gives you like a new wallpaper every time you start the machine, something like that, and it sets up the theme to be like one of them automatically adjusting the color theme to the background kind of thing. So it's a little bit of an enhanced experience doing it that way, and it also bypasses all of the secure boot and the TPU, and also you can set it up without a Windows or a Microsoft account. There's ways of
And
doing
don't
it.
forget, you can go buy those secondhand licenses for like $10. So I mean, if dark mode and
Yeah, you can.
wallpaper are
Yeah,
important
yeah.
enough to you that you want a license, but you don't want to pay $99.99 for the home stripped down version, just go get a $10, $15 Pro Windows license
But
that was
you're-
stripped off of some enterprise machine
Yeah,
and
yeah,
secondhand
yep.
sold.
You're
whatever.
paying $100 for theming, basically.
Yeah, no,
and
you're
maybe
paying
you get a
$10
little.
for theming.
You get a little watermark.
Exactly.
I got a little watermark on the bottom right corner saying to activate.
But I would say it comes
Whoop-de-doo.
down to what is it you're trying to do? Because honestly, I have a virtual machine that I run every so often if I need to try out something that's a Windows based, something. And that's in there. I'll never want a license because why would I care what it looks like? I really just want to see if this thing runs or not. So it depends on your use case. I mean, I think if you were staring at it every single day and that annoyed you enough that you felt justified in paying money for a license to get that watermark gone or to change some setting that it won't let you, then yeah, Leo's right. Just go to eBay and get, it'll be a paper card or something they mail you,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's
Or
that's
just
all
use
you
it the way it
computer.
is.
Bleeping computer runs sales every now and then.
Okay.
And you can grab them from a slightly more reputable place. No telling where those eBay ones came from.
Okay, here's another
So-
hack. If you absolutely need to change your wallpaper, you can't do it through the settings, but as far as I know, if you go and get a photo and you download it and you want that to be your desktop background, you can still right-click on that and say set as desktop background, and that still works.
Boy, that would be a really weak.
Oh, it is weak.
Yeah.
And it's very one-dimensional, very, very superficial.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you said, though, they don't honestly care. They're putting
I don't think they do.
very
Yeah,
minimal
They would rather you use
roadblocks.
it. They would rather you use it than anything
Yeah,
else.
because now
Yeah.
you're whether you paid for it or not, you're plugged into their data engine, and they need that more than they need your
Right.
$100. So
Well, it just shows you that the cost of the license is so negligible It's why Mac doesn't really charge for Mac OS. I mean, it's just part of the device. They consider it.
They
It's
wouldn't
like
even
you're
consider
technically
it
not
that way.
supposed to. Well, you're technically not supposed to just download it and run it on non-Mac hardware. I mean, that's in the license agreement and all that. But like, I doubt they're ever going to enforce it on a
Well, because
Hackintosh or
you
something.
really kind of can't anymore.
Yeah. Well, from a hardware perspective, yes, but you can still run it as a
Yeah.
virtual machine if you want. Anyway, do we have enough time for me to bring up one more thing?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I had a question for you actually before
Oh,
you
go ahead.
bring up.
Go ahead.
What was the problem that you are having with Bluefin? I wonder if it's similar to some of the
No,
stuff I
no, this is
was.
gonna take too long.
It's
He
really
hates
not worth
absolutely
it. I
everything
mean,
immutable because he can't
so
install stuff on it.
I'll tell you what the first problem is that it expects to take over your whole machine. And that was a problem for me because I wanted to maintain a Windows partition that I have on there in case my daughter or someone else needed to use that system and needed Windows for some reason. And if you try to partition the disks, even if it shows that it accepted it and everything, it'll just fail in the installer, which just pisses me off because it's like
Short
if it
answer
doesn't
is
work.
Eric doesn't like Linux enough.
Yes.
So okay, all
Exactly.
right. Second part.
So anyway, yeah, and I really think it is a maturity thing, to be completely honest with you. And I know they're saying that it's a 90% solution and it's supposed to be for most users, and I'm just not a most user, and I know it'll get better for the non 90% soon enough. So I'm just gonna leave it
He's
alone
just
for now.
biased against homebrew.
No,
Fair
actually, Brew is the one shining beacon that saved me, believe it or not.
Okay.
Because the overlay stuff, the RPM, what is it, RPM root or no
Yeah,
RPM
don't do that. Just don't do that.
RPM Ostry.
OS
Yeah.
RPM OS tree. So yeah, and I decided I wasn't going to do that, but I was trying to do something that required being a native package, but then I figured out Brew is able to get you those sort of more lower level packages, whereas most of the flat packs are not something that it's going to be like a system level package.
By design,
And
yes.
right, and DistroBox wouldn't work because even though it does allow it to install in a virtual container or in a container,
You're in a container.
it doesn't. You're in a container and it doesn't flow through
Yeah.
properly. So
Yeah.
anyway, those are all implementation details that are going to be worked out soon enough, and I'm almost positive that within a year or two, I and the 90% of people will be able to literally just use it and be perfectly content. Anyway, the thing I had. I don't know if I brought this up or not, but my daughter's friend, at the end of the school year last year, she claims it was her mom. Her mom claims it was her. Somebody put the power brick in the bag with the laptop, and it smashed the screen. And so she showed it to me and said, "Can you fix this?" And I said, "No, honey. Your screen is like mushed." So the only way I could fix it is to get you a new one. And I said, "I'd be happy to do that, but I'm pretty sure this computer isn't supported by Windows 11, and so then, is your mom going to want to spend the money for me to fix the screen or just get you something new?" And anyway, so I talked to her mom, and they did want me to fix the screen, but not. But in that same conversation, I said, "Okay, well, even when I fix it, you only have through October, technically." That Windows 10 is supported. I said it'll keep running, but it's not going to have security updates, and at some point, it's just not going to be safe to run. And so, would you let me put Linux on here to let her try that and see if she likes it? I said my daughter uses Linux and does all the same coursework that your daughter does. They're literally in the same classes. Can I do that? And her mom was super skeptical and was like, "Well, what's this Linux thing?" And I
It's
did
a
my
hacking
best.
thing.
I tried my best to explain to her that, it's just an alternative operating system. And quite frankly, like everything they do is browser based and it can run all of the same web browsers. So if she needs to use Edge, if she needs to use Chrome, whatever. And I just couldn't get her to bite. She was super skeptical. And I just said, "Look, it's okay. It's fine. I'll fix the screen. You guys use the computer through the, rest of the year and to a certain point." I said, "But I really don't think it's a good idea for you to keep using it with Windows 10 on it in the long run." And so at first I hadn't thought dual booting. And so the last time I saw her, whenever they picked up the computer, by the way, I ordered a used screen. It was an HP laptop. I used a reclaimed screen off of eBay for $30 and put that in. And also, shout out to HP. Their laptops are usually absolutely terrible in terms of repairability. But this one it had the bezel around the screen. It was just little clips and double-sided tape. And I was able to, gently pull it off. 4 screws and 1 ribbon cable. The screens out, same ribbon cable and 4 screens, and then pushing that clips back on. It took like 10 minutes. It was incredible. It was the easiest laptop screen.
That's framework level. That's good.
Yeah, good stuff. So anyway,
That's good.
Till you strip out them tiny little screw holes.
oh yeah, or lose the screws. Yeah, and then you can never ever find them.
Well, I've got
so
boxes of those.
anyway, I gave it back to them, and I said, "Look, I've had a think about this, and I get that you are a little uncomfortable not having Windows." I said, I can do something called dual booting, where you basically split the disk, and half of it goes to Windows and half of it goes to Linux. And I said she has a menu when it starts up. She can choose between the two, and she can safely run Linux and do all of her coursework. But if for any reason she needs to get back to Windows to run something or whatever, she can do that. And I thought maybe that would get them. And still, she's sort of
a choice. No.
Yeah. So whether it's just too technical and she doesn't quite understand, or and I've said
people are afraid of change. People are afraid of change, aren't they?
Y'all hit the nail on the head earlier in the earlier conversations. They do not care. Windows works. Everything else, I do not care. I don't care. Why would I care?
Well,
I don't care.
So then I said, look, then your alternative is going to be at some point buying her a new laptop. And I'm going to warn you right now that the next generation of hardware comes embedded with AI. Like everything is all focused on AI, and it's going to have Copilot and Recall and all these terrible things that you probably don't want. And even her daughter, who's 13 years old, whenever I said AI, she went, ew. Like out loud, and I was like, thank you so much, I love you.
I'm inoculating my daughter, man. Don't worry. Don't worry. The new generation is going to be okay. But
they're not going to be okay whenever they're sold hardware where that stuff is built in, and how the hell are they going to get around it?
So for
they'll find ways of switching it off. They'll find ways of switching it off.
For the vast majority of people that don't need like super Windows specific software, how much for these people do you think would spend on a laptop?
Well, I don't know, because I mean, it's not like they don't have the money for it, but they've also proven that she's not going to take the best care of it. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of getting kids their age, high-end equipment. So, and I also said to her, I forgot this option. I said, okay, if you've used or heard of Chromebooks, Chrome OS is a thing. And I said, that's sort of a halfway point between, and so I tried to give her all these different options. Sorry, that just occurred to me. The answer to your question is, I think they would probably spend, maybe $300, $400, $500 at the absolute maximum. And I said to them, I could very easily get you a nice used system that will run Windows 11 for, a couple $100, and I'll image it for you and clean it up and make sure
you're going to get her an ugly ass ThinkPad, aren't you?
No.
Oh, okay.
I am not one of those people. I have not and will never buy with my own money a ThinkPad. I had ThinkPads at work.
One of these.
Really?
Get one of these.
Oh, here we go.
That's interesting.
What's
this
he got?
Is this your Chewy thing?
This is a
No, you
Chewy.
have to. No, hold on. You have to describe it. We're on an audio podcast.
So these things. Uh-oh.
God, Majid hates your laptop so much he just left.
So I'm not going to listen to this.
Rage quit.
So this is a Chewy. CHUWI. These things are crazy cheap. CHUWI. Go look it up. This is the 14-inch.
Like Chewy.
This is the 14-inch.
Oh, it's like a Huawei or a Xiaomi.
I'm almost positive, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Chinese made.
I bought this for $115, brand new.
What's in it? No, what's the
Celeron? It's a Celeron dual core. But look,
But you said, what were you saying you did on it? And I was surprised you said it was running as well as it did.
well, it's got quick sync.
You did the Arch install. You did the Arch.
Oh, quick
Arch
sync.
install,
That's what it
didn't you?
is.
It's got quick sync and NVMe.
Cyberpunk 2077,
Okay, so not this one.
3 frames a second.
This is Little Chewy. I also have
Oh, good God.
Big Chewy. Big Chewy was only $50 more, but with this you get the N100 chip, which is quad core 3.4 gigahertz, 15-inch. This was less than $150, and I played Cyberpunk 2077 and what's the Halo Master Chief on Steam on this thing, and Skyrim.
Hold up.
Yes.
Hold up. What resolution?
This is a 2K.
You played it at 2K 1440p?
Sure did.
No.
Both
No,
of these machines have quick sync built in.
No, they've got like a strip everything out, run it on a Nintendo
This has
Switch
got
1.
16 gigs of RAM. It comes with a 500 gig hard drive. The other one comes with 256.
I need you to run a
NVMe.
screen recorder and have all the stats on the screen.
It runs everything with hardware acceleration. Both of them will run OBS Studio with hardware acceleration.
You're
quick
bullshitting.
sync. Nope,
No,
I am
bullshit.
telling you.
So I remember when he sent me those specs, and then I started just looking to see, well, what is that equivalent to? So that's Celeron. I mean, obviously it's not exactly, but it benchmarks about as much as high as an i5, 8th gen i5.
Yeah.
You can do plenty
believe
on
that.
an 8th gen i5. Yeah, so
Yeah, because that's
therefore,
like 6 years of innovation or whatever.
Well, it
yeah, well, I mean,
8 years.
how many of us? I've got devices that are that which work perfectly fine. Admittedly, I don't do gaming on them, but you know,
Perfectly
I wouldn't know.
fine.
I don't
did you buy
game.
that?
I mean, you
Bill?
know,
Huh?
Where did you buy those?
They're on eBay, but they're also on Amazon too. I can share a link.
Okay. I was just curious.
are you sponsored by Chewy?
No,
are they
but
giving you loads of money?
The reason I have two of them is because
I
that
wanna
first
cut.
one that I was raving about a couple weeks ago, I broke it because I dropped my glasses on the screen, and it like fell on the floor
You're-
and it cracked the screen, and so
Oh, jeez.
so I ordered a replacement for a 13.3-inch Celeron Chewy, and they sent me this 15.6-inch
Oh.
2K with twice the RAM, 4 times the processor, better everything. It was a huge upgrade.
Did you let them know? They
No.
can't have it back.
No,
they
they're not
can't
getting it
take
back.
it back. But you could tell them, hey, man, your AI screwed up, and sent me the wrong thing. I'm keeping it, but
I don't know if it was their fault or whatever fulfillment center they were using, because in both cases they used Amazon to
oh,
What
the-
distros you got? You got Arch on them, haven't you?
both. But you know what I did? I just
Both of
cloned the hard drive, so they're basically both just, well, they started off as clones
they're
of each other.
no, what they both are is in various states of disrepair.
Well, I did not want to go through all the trouble of resetting up all the SSH keys and everything, so I just cloned. And by the way, shout out to Clonezilla, because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to pull it off, but Clonezilla will clone a completely encrypted, Lux encrypted volume.
Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it?
Because nothing else would. I tried to do it like, I tried to take both of the hard drives out and hook them up to this machine, to my Mint machine, and do it that way, and it wouldn't work. So I put it back into
You're
one
doing
machine.
it wrong.
Well, I put it back into its original machine, which the way I should have done it in the first place, and then booted to. I didn't have Clonezilla burned to anything, so I just went ahead and used the Arch ISO, which has Clonezilla as part of it, and ran it that way, and then cloned it from the hard drive plugged in to an external hard drive, and that worked perfectly. So, hats off to
Were
them.
there any issues with any particular things to do with sound, or was there any
Nothing.
graphics? No, because I just remember my son having a Huawei MateBook or whatever they're called, and it
Those
at
had
one point it
proprietary things in
died.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is
exactly. Yeah,
all.
it's that was the issue I had when I was trying to put Linux onto it. Was the I couldn't get any sound out of it.
These
I mean,
things
it
are
worked
running
by
just
Bluetooth, but it was
boilerplate.
Yeah, this is all such standard hardware. I mean, everything I'm looking at in here.
That's why they can be so cheap, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just stuff that somebody else didn't want, so it's
Yeah.
They
like,
come
"Oh,
with
it's not to
Windows
sell it."
11. They're only charging a few bucks more than what you would pay for a Windows 11 license. That's
So here's
Yeah.
so
Oh,
this.
yeah.
So buy a Chewy and get a laptop for free.
you're basically just
Why
buying a
Windows
Windows license.
See?
Yeah, I mean seriously,
you
it's
go.
so there's a Chewy, and I don't know if this is the same. So it's called a HeroBook Pro 14.1.
That's it.
It's got the
That's the little one.
Celeron N4020
That's it. Yeah.
up to, and it's 192, so it's not 114.
Get
but
the N100 or the N150 or
That's the
soon the
Gemmy book.
N200. Those are the good ones.
no, I
Gemmy
agree with
book.
Good
that.
Celeron.
The Gemmy book is the big one, and that's got the N100 in it.
This one has
N1
so the rest of these are two in ones,
Yeah,
which is weird. I don't want a 2-in-1.
the Gemmy, the big one that I've
Yeah,
got is
see
the
a Gemmy
book.
book 15.6. It's
That's
the
it.
N150, but see it's 329. So I don't know where you're getting the.
Well, they sent it by accident. So
Oh, okay. Well, there is a $50 coupon though, so it would be $279.
but I went to eBay and got these. I didn't get them from Amazon.
Okay,
So
so
Amazon's
that would probably
charging
be the
full
difference.
price. Yeah. But they're still brand new, and they used Amazon to ship them. I'm not
Yeah,
sure how that
I mean, this
works.
this is a 16 gig DDR5, 512 gig SSD, Intel N150 up to 3.6 gigahertz, 15 watt TDP, Windows 11, 2 terabyte SSD extended.
2 terabyte.
Yeah, and that's a 512 gigabyte primary SSD with a 2 terabyte secondary. For 320, well, for 179 or 279. Yeah.
Well, these are
that's-
like the B-Link and all those other little tiny mini computers or whatever.
Yeah, and
I
you know
love
what?
those.
Look, I mean, geez, who the hell cares if you got 3-4 years out of it?
It's almost
That's
throwaway
that
price. Yeah.
That's wild. That's absolutely wild. See, I don't have any experience with these N chips though, so I don't know.
They're great.
It's
they're
outperforming-
quite fast.
I went ahead and retired my Omen with the I think it's got the 8th gen i7 in it, 16 cores
Okay.
or no, 8 cores. It
Okay.
outperforms that.
I run a ton of containers on an N100 and thing doesn't even break a sweat. It's
No.
crazy.
Wow. Okay.
So
And what's the what is the N line? Like what is that?
they're
The
they're
Celeron
all
line.
there's no performance cores. They're all efficiency cores.
Yeah.
That's the
Oh,
only
okay.
thing. But these efficiency cores are outperforming the performance cores of 4 years
Right.
ago. You know.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
mean
yeah.
yeah, my Latitude has an 8th gen, and I think it's an i5, and I'm happy with that by and large. I've gotten to the point in my life where I've realized that like it's almost like a car. It's like I know that a slightly newer processor would be maybe 10% faster, but it's like I can wait 5 seconds. You know what I mean? It's like that's going to be the difference in practical terms,
Yeah.
whether it takes 4 seconds for my browser to open or 9 seconds. It's like, well, okay, I think I can wait the extra 5 seconds and be happy that I spent $140 on something, you know?
So yeah, I'm very happy because I wanted that. I wanted the smaller
That's
one
awesome.
to take on the road. Yeah.
You know what this is to me? This is the Chinese electric vehicle that we're not allowed to have.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
They're made in
We're getting
Shang-
quite a lot of them now, actually.
Well, they're made in
Shenzhen.
Shenzhen, aren't they? The same.
Where's my $14,000 electric vehicle that's better than a Tesla?
They're making those not far
Well-
from me. That new, what is that line of Amazon
The truck
cars?
thing-
BYD?
Yeah, they're making those in Warsaw, Indiana, which is only about an hour away from me.
I actually like how that looks. I really do. I think it's
Oh,
a neat
you
looking
like
little
a
It looks like a
Cybertruck,
Yugo.
don't you?
No, I don't.
Ugh.
Those,
there was a
nothing says
Cybertruck
douchebag
park-
like a Cybertruck. If
Nothing.
any of you are
Nothing.
listening, you're probably
Right.
not listening to us if
No,
you're
you're
driving
not.
a
3
Cybertruck.
out of the 10
You're
people that are
probably
listening to this podcast.
playing Top Golf somewhere with your friends
Yeah.
and high-fiving each
exactly.
other and shit like that if you're driving a Cybertruck. But
There was
I'll
one of
have
my-
you know, they're 8
And
Bud
then,
Lights
and then
in
you won't
right
be listening
now.
to us then.
no. So
There are so many around me. I swear that they must have sold like 50% of them in South Florida
Oh,
because
yeah, I was
there
going
are
to say,
so
you're in
many
Florida,
of them.
dude. Yeah.
I mean, there was one at my daughter's school.
We're getting loads and loads nowadays because of tax changes.
How could they fit on your roads? They're huge.
They don't. They really don't. Yeah,
that would be stupid. I would never want to drive one of them over there.
Who wants to be the one dickhead on the block that's got one of them? I mean,
well, it's just like it's
called a Chelsea tractor, isn't it? It's called a Chelsea.
So, have you guys seen the electric Hummer?
Yeah, I've seen one or two of those.
Oh, is this the one with the battery that like you go like 80 miles and it takes 2 days to charge?
Yeah, but it is massive. It's like as big as a regular Hummer, and it is stupidly huge. And just there is no bigger like dickhead flex that I can think of than I've got an electric Humvee.
Yeah.
But we gave the guys that bought the H1 Hummers, the H1 Hummers, those guys had a pass somehow. I'm not sure what has changed.
They were cool. No, you're right. They were cool. Even though they were terrible vehicles, they were still cool.
I was in the Army when those came out, and I remember them bringing them to us, and we were terrible alcoholics. I ain't gonna lie. They brought those things to us, and they said to us, "These are impossible to flip over." And couple of the country boys, couple of country boys I was in with said, "Oh yeah," they had them all flipped over within 24 hours.
That's red rag to a bull, isn't it?
Yeah, that's like catnip. Yeah, okay. Give us the keys.
They did too. We were drunk when they gave us the keys too, because they delivered them in the middle of the night.
Nice.
And they needed somebody down at the motor pool to take possession of them. We were pissed drunk.
Take possession, quote unquote.
13 of them we got, and 13 of them got flipped over.
Oh, okay. So now I've gotten further down the page to the N100s, and there's a N100 Gemi Book 14.1.
That's the student one, yeah.
Yeah, and it's only 8 gigs of memory, 256 SSD, but it's $199, and that's on Amazon. So
it's still a good price.
The 15.6 is $219, so for like $20 more, you can get a much bigger one. Still the same 8 gigs. See, I don't know. I don't think I'd want to get 8 gigs in anything right now. It's not enough.
The Hero Book's got 8 gigs in it, and I don't plan on using it to run a lot of parallel stuff. So
yeah,
I don't know. My
You're just even with the browser though, you're just so close to bumping against that.
You don't want to have 30 tabs open, that's for sure.
And a kid would. I mean, my daughter's probably hit 100 tabs by now. So
with an SSD, you won't even notice, man. Swap is pretty decent these days.
Yeah, they use Z swap and everything by default with a lot of these distributions, including Arch. So it actually performs really well.
Yeah, everything is including Arch because you have to put it together yourself.
Not
Bill,
really.
You're an Arch. You're an Arch.
You know what?
I didn't know this at all.
I'm going to call us both out on this right here. We are going to do a what do we call this? A head-to-head where Majid is going to install something mainstream, and I'm going to do
like Mint.
I'm going to use Arch
Mint
install
versus Arch install.
And I put it to
what a disaster.
I put it to Majid that I can install Arch. I can install Arch
man. We
just
never want
as
to have
fast.
sex, do we?
Now, in the old days, I'm not going to lie. It took me a weekend one time to get it right in the beginning, but that was 13 years ago.
Are you going to use Arch install,
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Oh, that's cheating.
No, but he doesn't know that. Nobody knows that. That's fine.
I'll be in the
know
background.
that.
I'll be in
Anyway.
the comments, man.
I have looked into Arch install. You do realize?
Yeah.
Not that I understood it very well.
But not everybody is going to be comfortable with Arch install because it is.
I didn't see Bill Cheroot once.
At the end, I do cheroot just to make sure that it wrote my F-stab correctly. And
for a time, you're going to skip that step.
Mostly I skip it.
After
I'm
it's
not gonna
right,
lie.
every
I
time.
mostly skip it. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, I know.
Because it's nothing I can't fix after the fact.
We all do.
So.
Are we going to get in trouble?
Yeah. We better get out of here, folks.
Uh-oh.
Email the show. Let us know what you think. Show at 3FT. Oh, my God. I did it
Oh,
again.
my gosh.
God's sake, that's the third time
you've done
that.
Don't do it again, Bill. Don't do it again. Show at linuxotc.org. We don't have much of a social presence. We are on Mastodon at Linux OTC. We will be back in 2 weeks. Until then, I'm Bill.
I'm Eric.
I'm Majid.
I'm Leo.
See you, folks. Thanks, everybody in live stream. We will see you in 2 weeks.